How much do you know about abortion? And how much do I know? Well, today we're going to find out, because we're going to take two separate abortion quizzes. The first one comes from Vox. I found this page as I was doing research for a different abortion video, and I thought, why not make a video about this? Because, it could be interesting. So we're going to start with Vox, but because it only has a few questions, as you can see here, there's going to be another abortion quiz when we're done with this one. Now, before I answer the questions, go ahead and think about how you would answer and see where you line up with these questions. So let's just start. And it says, if I had to guess, what percentage of women in the US do you think will have an abortion in her lifetime? I don't actually have to guess. I know that the most recent data available has it around 25%. But of those 25%, it's also important to recognize, at least in my opinion, that 50% of abortions, roughly 50% every year, are repeat offenders. Meaning women who have already had an abortion are having a second or third or, however many abortions. So 50% every year are women who have already had at least one abortion. And let's just keep going. Oh, hey, it tells me, look at that, I'm right. So it tells me I'm right as soon as every question is done. So this says 30% of women, but I don't agree with that. The data that I've seen has it at 24 or 25%. This could be old data, so we'll just keep going. I actually don't know what year this page came out. I just found it now. So would you say abortion is more common, less common, or about as common as it was a decade ago? Well, again, I know the answer to that. Abortion is less common. It's been decreasing fairly consistently. And that's a good thing, for sure. So it's less common. I'm right about that. If I had to guess, what is your sense? Is giving birth safer then, less safe then, or about as safe as an abortion? Well, I know this one also. Now, keep in mind, when it says, is it safer, it's obviously not talking about the life of the child, because abortion, by definition, is ending that life. So I'm just going to answer how Vox wants me to answer, because I know that for the mother, abortion is a safer procedure. But it certainly is not for the child who their life is being ended. So I'm just going to put that out there, set that aside, because I want to get a good grade on this random Vox quiz. So we'll say that birth is less safe, because I know that it is. Again, talking only about the mother. If I had to guess, is getting a wisdom tooth removed safer than, less safe, or about as safe as an abortion? Now, honestly, I don't really know the answer to this one, but I'm pretty sure I can guess, because this is coming from Vox, and they probably wouldn't compare it to a procedure that is less dangerous than abortion, because by comparison, they want abortion to seem safe. So I'm going to say that wisdom tooth removal is less safe than abortion. And it looks like I'm right, which I want to look at the data there, because how many people are dying from wisdom teeth removal every year? I don't imagine it's very high. As far as you know, are most abortion procedures done through surgery? Oh, well, no, they are not. And I am right about that too. Are all doctors who provide legal abortions licensed medical professionals like other doctors? Well, pretty much, yeah. So it looks like I'm right there. Oh, that's it. You knew how common abortion is and had a decent knowledge of the risks. Most Americans aren't educated about abortion. Okay, so if I scroll down, it talks about, some of the information that they had and they provided. So I want to look at the wisdom teeth one. Here it is. It says the risk of complication from a wisdom tooth extraction is twice as high as it is with abortion. 2.1% of abortion patients have complications, compared with 4.6% of wisdom teeth patients. Now, the complications doesn't necessarily mean it's less safe. It depends on the extent or the severity of those complications. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know offhand, but how many people die from wisdom teeth extraction in any given year? Let's look it up. While experts don't know exactly how many deaths are associated with wisdom tooth extraction, they estimate that upwards of 5 million Americans get their wisdom teeth removed every year, while about 1 in 365,000 patients suffer a brain injury or die when they are sedated during oral surgery. So if you put those two numbers together, you get to something like 14 people a year. I'll admit that is a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. And sure, 14 isn't a very high number, but it's higher than I thought. Now let's jump and take another quiz that I found, this one dating back to 2017. And it's not as if this one is going to be biased in any way, because it's only sponsored by the Empower Women collection by Stand Up, Speak Up, which is apparently an online store devoted to spreading social awareness through fashion. And then they say that a woman's right to have an abortion is being threatened in the US. So, I'm sure they're not biased whatsoever. But let's just begin our journey. Very fancy. Oh, there we go. When was abortion made legal in the US? I mean, if they're talking about Roe v. Wade, that was in 73. So let's... Okay. Why was abortion legalized in the U.S.? The president declared it legal. It was already in the Constitution. Give me a break. There were many unsafe, illegal abortions. All right, well, none of these are really accurate. The reason it was deemed federally legal was because the Supreme Court erroneously said that a right to privacy somehow includes a right to abortion. So no, it was not in the Constitution. This is nonsense. I'll go with this one because I guess that kind of goes along with the Supreme Court, even though it's not accurate. Ugh, because there are many, okay. True or false? No religions support abortion. Well, I mean, I'm going to throw down here, but I think if you are a Christian and you support abortion, then you're kind of doing Christianity wrong. And I know there are many major religions that should not support abortion. So, I mean, I guess I'll put false because I'm sure that that's the answer. Do abortions still happen when they are made illegal? Well, sure, but that doesn't mean that you should make it legal because they're going to happen anyway. I mean, homicide still happens even though it's illegal. That's not justification to make it legal. So it's a weird question, but sure. Do most women regret getting an abortion? Well, most women don't, probably, but some of them do. So I'll put no. Yeah, I'll put no, even though it says there are no statistics, because, yeah, that's what it's looking for. Is abortion used as a common means of birth control? Perhaps not intentionally, but this one is also really important. Did you know, and I'm going to throw the statistic here on the screen so you can see it, that roughly 50% of abortions, or women who had an abortion, did not use birth control within the month that they got pregnant? So if it's 50% of women, that kind of means that, yeah, they're using abortion as a form of birth control. So even though they're looking for me to say no, I'm going to say yes, because statistically, a lot of women do use abortion as a form of birth control. Which 6 countries have the strictest abortion laws? Ooh, now this one, so I'm going to guess Ireland is one of them, just because I believe they recently legalized abortion, meaning that in 2017 it was not legal. I know it's certainly not going to include the United States of America because we're pretty lax when it comes to abortion. So I'm just going to go with this one. Okay, well apparently I was wrong and they think the United States is more restrictive, or one of the most restrictive countries for abortion. What percentage of abortion in the US occurred at or before 13 weeks gestation in 2013? Okay, well that's a while ago. I do know that roughly something like 1.3% of abortions occur at or past 20 weeks. So occurring before 13 is probably a pretty high number. So I'll go with 91%. But yeah, that looks like that's what it is. True or false, more Americans identify as pro-life than pro-choice. Now this one depends a lot on the poll that you're looking at, but it's generally pretty even, where you have a good amount of Americans saying they're pro-life and a similar amount saying they're pro-choice. So I guess they probably lean slightly more pro-choice, but that doesn't mean they're as radically pro-choice as many of the Democrats are. And it looks like I clicked on the wrong one, but that's okay. Let's just keep going. Which of these reasons is a reason that adoption might not be an alternative to abortion? Pregnancy complications are 6th most common cause of death for women. The cost of hospital birth runs between $3,000 and that's a really big gap. $3,000 and $37,000. Many teens are shunned by family, friends, and employers when they are pregnant. I mean, none of this takes into account, the fact that not getting an abortion will actually preserve the life of the fetus. But let's just go with all of the above because that's what they want. Looks like that's it. I got 6 out of 10. I'm apparently a warrior for women's rights, that I should stay educated and keep fighting to keep abortion legal. So, just like I said, this article or this test was not biased in any way. All they want to do is make sure that I keep fighting to keep abortion legal. So there you have it. According to this quiz, I need to change and now become pro-choice. That the more I become educated, apparently the more I'm going to be pro-choice and against the pro-life movement. But I do want to go back to that one question where it talked about the United States being one of the 6th most restrictive countries when it comes to abortion, because I don't believe that in the slightest. Let's look back at the question to verify that's how it was worded, and then I'll look at other data to find out that, that's actually not accurate. Okay, so here I am back at this page where it says which 6 countries have the strictest abortion laws. So I repeat, if it's saying which 6 countries out of all of the countries in the world, the United States will not be on that list. Well, that didn't take very long. I found this article to prove that that quiz was in fact wrong. It's titled The 9 Countries with the Most Draconian Abortion Laws in the World. So once again, I'm sure there's no bias whatsoever involved in this article. They point out, as I mentioned, that abortion was only legal in Northern Ireland when a pregnant woman's life was at risk. So perhaps Northern Ireland and Ireland were 2 different countries, so that one kind of was a little bit confusing. But if we scroll a little bit further down, it says 6 countries, El Salvador, Malta, the Vatican, Chile, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua, still refuse abortion to women under any circumstance, even if it's to save her life. Notice that the United States does not fall within that list of 6 countries. So right there, that quiz was wrong. But just to be sure, this talked about 9 countries with the most draconian abortion laws. So if we just do a quick search, we look for the United States. Look at that. It doesn't show up. Or if we look up USA, it still doesn't show up. So the United States is not even within the list of 9 most draconian, according to Business Insider, let alone the 6 most restrictive. And I recognize in the grand scheme of things, that's not super important, but I didn't want to get that question wrong, so I had to prove that they were wrong. I just thought this would be a good change from some of my other videos where I just kind of do something to see exactly how much we actually know about abortion. And maybe you learn something from it. I didn't learn anything really important, but at least I know that about 14 people die every year from wisdom tooth extraction. Something that I don't think is really ever relevant, but at least now I know it. How do you think you would fare in a quiz like this? Go ahead and let me know if you want, and don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave a like. And I'll see you next time.